Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
So global luxury sales could exceed 400 billion euros in 2025, boosted by a fuller recovery of tourism. That's the view of Bloomberg Intelligence. Now, the estimate comes despite the sector in Europe facing a significant slowdown in the first quarter on lower demand from China. Well, that caused Kering shares to tumble last month after warning of a steep drop in sales at its Gucci brand. Now, Kering bought a 30% stake in Valentino last year to try and strengthen its portfolio. And in March, Valentino also named the former Gucci creative director Alexandra Michel as its new top designer. So for a look at how the Kering-Valentino partnership is progressing and the outlook for the sector, I'm delighted to be joined exclusively by Valentino's chairman, Mohamed Rachid. He's also, of course, the chief executive officer of Qatar's Mahula, the investment fund that owns Valentino, and amongst others, the French fashion house Balmain. So, Mr. Rachid, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's exciting times, it's difficult times for the luxury sector, but they also started at such a high. How do you see demand developing right now?
Well, the last 3 years have been really exceptional for luxury products. Post the pandemic, there have been a very significant surge. I mean, the average was 7% when usually the luxury market grows around 3-4%. We have seen 3 consecutive years of 7%. I think since second half last year, we have definitely seen a slowdown. Not only in Europe, but also in the US, and there was always a question mark about how fast China will recover. This year started with an expectation that the luxury markets will grow between 2 to 4%. My personal feeling, it will be much less than that. Probably it will be flat. The reality is that Europe, US is still very flat at the moment, and China is still weak. And we have already seen some companies coming with some results. And it is very clear that it is quite a challenging environment in 2024.
So what makes an exceptional brand? You're relaunching Valentino with the former Gucci creative director, Alessandro Michele. Is he going to focus on certain pieces? What do you think will sell in this dampened environment?
Well, Valentino had an amazing performance in the last 10 years. And Pier Paolo have been an amazing designer. And we have done fantastic with the brand. I mean, we acquired the brand and it was less than 250 million. Today is 1.4 billion. And not only the size, but also the reputation, the attractiveness, the luxury positioning of Valentino have been exceptional. It is true that we have a change in designer today. Because we believe that there will be a new chapter in Valentino, and we believe that Valentino as a brand is so rich in terms of its archive, in terms of its history, that there is so many dimensions and so many presentation of Valentino. And we are hoping our new designer, Alessandro Michel, who's an exceptional designer, will be capable of presenting something different from a Valentino point of view. We know that in the last few years there have been quite luxury prevailing.
Yep.
My guess, like many others in the fashion, this is going to be over. So I think people, as usual in fashion, they get bored. So there is a cycle, and I think fashion and colors and design and creativity is going to come back with force. And we are getting ready for that, yeah.
And where are you expecting a pickup in luxury actually to start from? Is it the US consumer that's still all-powerful for companies such as yourself?
Well, we have seen a significant shift in spending. That's explained the slowdown that we have seen in the last 9 months from goods to experience. So we see travelers are spending more on hospitality, on experience, on restaurants, on different aspects of entertainment. But again, like everything else, this is cyclical. So we believe that U.S. is going to continue to be influential. For us in Valentino, U.S. is a very, very significant market. Europe have always been the base of Valentino, but really the prospect for us, especially with our new design and new approach now, is how to start really much bigger business in China. But China, as we know, I mean, there is a question mark about how fast China is recovering, and the signs are very clear that maybe in the second half of this year we are going to see a recovery there, yeah.
How's the partnership with Kering going?
Well, it has been a very, very positive partnership. I mean, they have 30% of the company. We have a strategic really alliance in that sense. The company has a very clear plan for what to do in the next few years, so that is not going to change. And I think, the attractiveness of the plan of the company, the vision of the company, the brand have been really the reason why this deal have happened, yeah.
Is there, they're concerned, of course, they're so reliant on Gucci. If Gucci sales are down, do you think you can even foster more that partnership between
I think Kering is an amazing company, and they have done fantastic. If you look at what they have done in the last 10 years, 15 years, it's an exceptional performance. And even a brand like Gucci that people are questioning, how fast it will recover today, let's not forget that this is a brand that was only 2-3 billion less than 10 years ago. Today it's almost double digit, yeah. So I have great confidence, in the capability and the management of Kering, that they will be able really to put all these brands on the right track to continue an amazing growth there, yeah.
I know, I think last time we spoke, you have Balmain, there were other companies that you're trying to relaunch that...
It's true.
Are you looking at anything else to buy? Do you think the portfolio will get bigger?
Sure. We know that there is a big scarcity in luxury, and luxury is about amazing brands who existed for a long time, and you cannot just create a luxury brand all of a sudden or from nothing. So there is a bit of history, there is a bit of legacy, there is a bit of archives in it. Balmain is an amazing brand that we have acquired almost 6 years ago. It have tripled in size, and Balmain is very much a representation of the French luxury houses. And we see that there is a huge potential for Balmain to continue to grow. It's very much depending on the American market as well as the European market. We are not really big in Asia at the moment, but this is really an early stage of the development of our brand. Apart from that, I'm always looking for supporting new brands and smaller brands. And this is something that I find a lot of joy in supporting, new designers and creative ideas coming out, yeah.
How much are you sensitive to pricing? There has been definitely a move up to price more for the ultra high net worth individual. Do you think that will continue for your goods, but also in general for the luxury industry?
Well, it's a reality that post-pandemic there have been a very significant increase of price. We're still living in an inflation situation. I know that everybody is concerned about how inflation is impacting economy and how sticky it is, and we are seeing some stickiness there. But I would say that the level of inflation and increase of prices have been much higher in luxury and exclusive products. And we can see it even in hospitality, even in restaurants, even anything that is luxury and exclusive, almost double in price in the last few years. And I think that is something that we have to iron out in the next few years. I think there is a bit of a challenge for luxury products in terms of price positioning at the moment. Some brands doing better than others, and that explains, the disparity between the performance in different brands. But you are right. Pricing is one of the main issues now in luxury. Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about what happens if we have Donald Trump in the White House with extra tariffs. I don't know whether there's been any chatter of these tariffs also touching luxury goods, but is there anything that actually some of these high-end luxuries companies can do to try and mitigate that?
Well, we always worry when, we have a scenario of Donald Trump coming back. We don't know really how the impact is going to be in different places. But the reality, of course, the American economy is doing well, and I assume it will continue to do well. And that is very important, really, for the health of the global economy. I think the same goes to China. We want to see China also recovering and doing well. It's very, very important that China, because we should not underestimate that China, from a growth contribution point of view, have been a significant, not just to luxury, but to the global economy. So China slowing down is not also good news for the global economy. So Europe, of course, remains there, and there is a big question about Europe, how they will pull it all together, which is something that we hope that they can do it in a positive way. But you are right. At the end of the day, the level of growth that we will see globally will impact the luxury. But also the reality of luxury today is that the middle class in many economies is growing significantly. So we have the China story in the past. Now we have the India story. We have to look at what happened. Many Asian countries are continuing to develop in a very significant, positive way. So in addition to the traditional America, Europe, Japan, we are seeing a lot of companies and markets coming up, even in Africa.
You seem pretty excited about working with Alexandra Michel. What are you most looking forward to? What do you think he'll bring to the brand?
Well, I'm very excited to work with Valentino as a brand. That's starting with, because it's an amazing brand. And I believe that Alessandro, following an amazing, performance of Pierpaolo, will be able really to bring a new chapter for Valentino with a completely new dimension. As I said, based on this very rich archive that Mr. Valentino Garavani have created. It's an amazing archive. And if you look at it, you will not believe how much is the diversity there. And I think Alessandro will probably bring another angle from that archive that we have not seen for some time now in a very, very attractive way.
Mr. Rachid, thank you so much for joining us today. That was Rachid Mohamed Rachid, the chairman of Valentino and Balmain and chief executive of Mahula.